Well, Chris Van Vliet is a four-time Emmy Award winner and popular YouTube podcast show host whose incredible interviews with stars and unique personalities get literally millions of views. He's also the founder of Woo Tungsten, a fishing gear company that has been listed as one of the fastest-growing companies in America. And full disclosure, I actually know Chris very well. We worked and traveled to many exotic destinations around the world together over the years, so I know personally how hardworking and talented he is. I can say welcome now to my friend Chris. Welcome, Chris.
Oh, Sandy, it's so good to see you. Thank you so much for having me on.
Well, of course, and I see those awesome 4 Emmys behind you, and I know that really you have just blown up. I mean, I know you started from Canada, went to Cleveland, went to Miami, now you're in LA. What really made you decide to come to Hollywood?
This is where it happens, right? My goal, my dream as a 4-year-old kid was to be on television, to be a television host. And you're right, the journey started in Toronto, then I was in Vancouver, Cleveland, Miami. But in terms of television and where stuff happens, this is where it is. So I packed up my car and I drove here last summer in the middle of COVID, but so excited to be here and so excited for the opportunities.
Well, we're so happy to have you in California. And I just realized you kind of followed LeBron around, didn't you? From Cleveland to Miami to LA.
We did the reverse. Like when I went to Cleveland, he at that exact time went to Miami and then vice versa.
Well, let's talk about your podcast and your YouTube, because really, literally millions of views. What is it about you? I kind of know, but what is it about you do you think that major stars, celebrities, sports figures just really love talking to you?
I think, Sandy, it's just I'm super curious, and I always have been. Like as a kid, I was just curious. I was always that guy asking questions. And when it comes to people who are at the very top of their game, whether they're athletes or actors or directors or comedians, I want to figure out like what makes them tick. What are the tools and tactics that have made them achieve the success that they've achieved? And I want to be able to like reverse engineer that so that we can apply it to our own lives. And I think the biggest thing is I started thinking about interviews not as interviews, but rather just as a conversation. If you and I bumped into each other, you know, at the store, we would just talk. We would just chat like we're doing right now. And I think that that's a big thing that I've done in all of the interactions that I've had with any of these celebrities.
Yeah, I agree. And I know so many of them consider you friends. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson loves you. He'd probably cross the street in traffic just to say hi to you. So you've also built up a lot of rapport with a lot of these big names.
Look, The Rock was someone who I looked up to so much. I was a huge wrestling fan. I still am a huge wrestling fan. But in high school, like I dressed up as The Rock for Halloween. So the fact that I've now interviewed The Rock a handful of times and he is aware of who I am, like I feel like I want to jump into a time machine, go back to the high school version of myself and go, one day, this guy's actually going to like be aware of you. And it's so cool seeing The Rock's path and The Rock's journey from being a wrestler to a movie star to now the biggest star in the world. And the fact that he gives us some time and makes us feel special in those interviews.
Yeah.
That's just such a cool thing.
One of the best. I think all the journalists that have had the opportunity to interview him agree he's at the top of the list. Now let's talk about fishing, because I personally know from seeing all of your social media posts, you love to fish. You're a good fisherman, and you've come up with Woo Tungsten. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I've been fishing since I was very young, and I was fishing in tournaments growing up in Canada. And my tournament fishing partner and I just kind of realized there was something that was missing. We now sell tungsten fishing weights, which for the longest time, they were made of lead, which is terrible for the environment. It's just not as good of a product. So we saw that there was this opening and we created this product. And the correct way to woo is how it's spelled, but we like to say woo tungsten,
Okay.
because that's what you yell when you catch a giant fish. Woo!
Very
so
true.
we make tungsten flipping weights and drop shot weights. I don't want to get too into the weeds here with the technical terms, but mostly for bass fishing, which here in California, there's some of the best largemouth bass fishing in the world.
Well, we love to hear about that. So I've been with you in Cannes and Hawaii and London and Moscow, all over the world. Now you're in our own backwoods. Please come visit us in Palm Springs, and we want to continue to follow your journey. So proud of you, Chris.
I can't wait to come see you in person there. And you're right, Sandy. We've traveled the world together. Palm Springs is next on that list.
Absolutely. Where can our viewers find you?
I'm at Chris Van Vliet, VanVliet, on all social media. And you can check out Woo Tungsten at wootungsten.com.
Great. Thanks so much. Great seeing you, Chris. Stay well. We'll look forward to seeing you here in the desert.